Good morning and welcome to the webinar. This is Maria Semple from the Prospect Finder. I am an advisory board member for the Center for Excellence, and we're going to be having several people joining us this morning to talk to us about the Center for Excellence at Fairleigh Dickinson University. At this point, I would like to turn things over to Dennis Miller. He is the founder and executive director for the Center for Excellence at Fairleigh Dickinson University. And Dennis is going to give us a nice overview of the Center for Excellence and what they have to offer for the nonprofit community here in New Jersey. Take it away, Dennis.
Good morning, everybody, and I thank you for being part of our webinar this morning. You will hear also from Michael Tizzoli, the CEO of West Bergen Mental Health Care, and Kerry Bordwick, the Director of Philanthropy Operations at Meridian Health Affiliated Foundations, as well as Dean Dr. Fredericks at Fairleigh Dickinson. We created this program back in 2001 and began it in the academic season of 2002. Our vision began as to be the premier educational and training center for the nonprofit community in New Jersey. It's evolved to the point that today our vision really is about you. All of you on this call this morning and all of you who are in our program today and all of you who have graduated our program to create a world-class environment that will inspire, motivate, encourage you to seek your own professional development and also to help you contribute to your organization and to continue to make a significant difference in the communities that you serve. We do this through two large programs. Our certificate in executive nonprofit leadership and our certificate in executive philanthropy. Part of what makes this organization and this Center for Excellence so terrific is our advisory board members. On the screen here, you'll be seeing a list of our members, and I want to see that we can get that on the screen here right now. If you take a look at this, obviously, many names you may recognize. These are some of the best we have in New Jersey in terms of whether it's corporate philanthropy, executive nonprofit leadership, mental health associations, affiliated organizations, educational components, community outreach organizations, United Ways. You'll just see a lot of people here on the next slide or two. So we have 30 people that are on our advisory board that help us develop our programs and make sure that we are providing what is the most current, up-to-date educational program as possible. If you can take a look at this list with me, if you see people you notice, you recognize these are some of the leading people that we have here in New Jersey. I also want to thank Fairleigh Dickinson for being such a phenomenal partner in helping us with this program here. As you know, Fairleigh Dickinson is the largest private university in New Jersey, and we're very happy to be part of this program. At this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Tizzoli, who is not only a member of our board, actually chairs our advisory board, is not only the CEO of West Bergen Mental Health Care, is an instructor, but also Michael has he does a talent review in his organization, helps people become members of our program. Michael.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us today. I think it's a special time to get together. It's an important program, and we're so happy that you are going to take a few minutes out this morning to hear a bit about what we're doing and hope that you'll eventually decide to join us in whatever way that makes sense for you. Dennis mentioned that I'm going to approach my few minutes that I'll talk this morning on our topics at hand from both the perspective of an advisory board member, a member of the committee that started the organization way back when, and is also a CEO of a number of people that have gone through the program, and I'm going to just reflect just for a minute or two on how I use it within West Bergen. Just a word about West Bergen Mental Health Care. We are a community mental health center based in Bergen County, New Jersey. Although the origins of the agency, as its name suggests that it really takes care of folks from the northwest corner of the county. Last year we served people from more than 90 communities in New Jersey and in Rockland County. We have 250 staff, and as the CEO, I think it's one of my, probably the most important thing that I can do is to think about the future of the organization as it relates to strategy, but probably more importantly as it relates to the talent pool that we have in the organization today. I think that as part of the senior management team, one of our tasks at hand is always, and I know everyone in our industry and in our field and in other fields are really concerned with recruitment and retention. Those are the two big issues I think that we focus on a lot. At West Bergen, we use this program very, very actively. Our senior management team gets together. We review the 250 staff that work for West Bergen, and we really start to scan the environment in a fairly methodical way and start to think about who are those folks in the organization that are up and coming. So who are those folks that are showing leadership skills at any level? They may be intermediate, they may be beginner level, they may be even part of the senior management team. But what we're looking for is that spark or that little bit of energy and forward thinkers that we want to take a step back and invest in a number of ways. This program has become an important part of that strategy, and we think it's an important part of our responsibility to those staff members. And by the way, broadly beyond that, it's important for us to invest in the future of the nonprofit sector. So we think of it not only as a West Bergen project, but we truly think of it as our responsibility to the entire sector. We take a look, we go through all 250 staff, and through a formal process, I would call it semi-formal/formal, we look at those folks that are up and coming, and we try to identify that person that we are going to send to the class. We're open. We have 2 certificate programs that you're going to hear about this morning. As a CEO, I really don't care which program they go through. I think it's more important that they fit. Last year we had a woman named Chrissy LaJoy from our development department go through the philanthropy track, and it was an opportunity for us, once she was identified, to sit down with her and suggest to her that we wanted to invest in her as an organization, that we wanted to send a very, very clear message to her that we wanted her to be part of our future, and that we felt that she had future leadership capability, and that we have a responsibility to partner with her to move her up to the next level. By the way, as she moves up to the next level, we move up to the next level. We're very, very open about that with her. I thought from her perspective, it increased her commitment to the organization. It increased her self-esteem, right, the emotional component of that, and it increased her ability to sort of step out of her job description, essentially, and think through some other roles and some other responsibilities within the philanthropy area. From a CEO perspective, I think about what's my return on the investment, right? So I'm going to be paying the tuition. We're going to be investing in this employee through the FDU program. And we've identified truly 4 areas that I would consider the ROI. So first, I mentioned briefly before, she felt invested as an employee and as a team member. So that's kind of the emotional component of our retention plan with her. She deepened her skills in a way that conferences and articles just can't do. Certainly they're helpful and they provide an adjunct, but we felt that this in-depth program was going to take those skills and really bring her to the next level, and we consider that the intellectual component of the retention plan. Third component, she connected to others in the class. This was invaluable. Not only was she connecting to the unbelievable instructors that Dennis spoke about earlier, but it was a connection to the others in the class moving through the program as a cohort that allowed her to build relationships, I think challenge herself in many ways, I think even add to the contribution and contributing to the class. But I started to hear and see kind of an informal process of, oh, we're going to dinner before the program. Oh, we're going to lunch. There was starting to be an informal network that continues and, by the way, exists today, some number of months after she's left. And, left the program, and she's still very, very connected with her. Fourth ROI is her process with the mentor. This year we added a mentor component where everyone that goes through the certificate programs are welcome to look through our list of a board of advisors, as well as some others, and engage themselves in a year-long mentorship program. That has helped a lot, I think, with Chrissy in our case, and she is really enjoying that deep connection. We're right now identifying, we're in the last stages of identifying our member for this coming year, and as a leader of an organization, I'm really excited about that process. I think that it's an important one not only for the individual that we identify to go through the program, but think about our process of having 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 folks that get identified that really are the future leaders for which we are responsible for developing a strategy around it. And the FDU program is really a critical component of that. I'm going to spend just a minute or two talking about the Executive Leadership Certificate. It is a program that's near and dear to my heart. I do have an opportunity to spend one evening with a class, and always find the class to be engaging, challenging, and really top tier, actually. In some ways, you can feel the future of the industry through this program as you teach. The instructors are strong. Where else are you going to be hearing from Jonathan Pearson from Horizon, or Tommy Wirafall from Make-A-Wish, Bill Nair? These are folks that folks would just be very, very, very challenged to get to on a day-to-day operation. These are folks that really dig in. Our topics are wide-ranging. Just as I wrap up, our topics are wide-ranging. I know that they're in front of you now, but transformational leadership is an important one. Building effective organizations through talent. That's all part of our overall strategy on how to get West Bergen to the next level. Building your brand in terms of, and there we deal not only with the brand of the organization, but really your own brand, and what are you as an organization, as a person, and as a leader, and where you're going. Overall, great program. Speaking from the CEO perspective, really, really would strongly urge my colleagues to think about this as a recruitment and retention tool, think that it's a worthwhile investment, and feel very, very strong on the return on the investment. Pleasure now to introduce Carrie Broderick, Director of Philanthropy of Meridian Health Affiliated Foundations, who's going to spend a few minutes talking about our Executive Philanthropy and Resource Development Certificate.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carrie Broderick. I'm the Director of Philanthropy Operations for Meridian Health Affiliated Foundations, and we span over 2, soon-to-be 3 counties in New Jersey, Monmouth, Ocean, and soon-to-be Middlesex County. We are a 30-ish person shop, and we raise approximately around $18 to $20 million a year in our foundation office. We have a pretty comprehensive foundation office, and one of the opportunities for me is I've been able to grow in the organization. I've been here about 12 years, started in event planning, and was able to grow because of the personal investments that my leaders have been able to present to me. So serving on the board for the Center of Excellence at FDU has been a real pleasure for me, because I've been able to now pay it forward and return that to some of the team members in my organization. This program, the Certificate for Philanthropy and Resource Development, is really designed for up-and-coming leaders, people that are familiar with philanthropic positions within their organization, but also for those that may be interested in getting into the nonprofit sector that may have come from outside organizations. This program is really designed for development officers. It's also perfect for board members who want to have a better understanding of what their responsibilities are. And I've also seen physicians who are involved in the philanthropic side of nonprofits who have sat in on this course and really benefited from it as well. This course is going to take a look at best practices for successful fundraising organizations throughout the state. You have some of the top fundraising leaders and thought leaders in the across the state that are going to really talk about different areas of fundraising to make your shop as successful as possible. And one of the best benefits of this is you're really going to have tangible takeaways and examples that you can apply to what you're doing in your organization. You're also going to hear case studies, what worked at other organizations, what didn't, and see how that, again, can apply to what you're doing in your organization. And you know, one of the best benefits of this program, I teach a course in this program as well, and you're really going to have small communication sessions. There's small groups, and you really have that ability to have that one-on-one dialogue with the instructors and really ask questions that are going to pertain to what you're doing and what you're going to be looking for as you continue to grow in your career. Taking a look at some of the courses within this track, the first one up, excuse me, let me take a drink. The first one up is the ingredients for a comprehensive fundraising program. And this course is taught by Kim Caesar, who is the Director of Development at the Sanzeri Children's Hospital at Hackensack University Medical Center. This is a great program to teach the comprehensive overlook of a nonprofit. You're going to look at a portfolio of different types of donors as well as vehicles for fundraising. You're going to look at major gifts, annual giving, grants. How do you put that all together to really have a sustainable fundraising program? Moving forward, the next course is going to be myself. I teach this course with Emily Tedeschi, who's our researcher in our office, and we're going to look at setting goals and priorities for your organization, and how do you track those goals? Why do you want to track those goals? What are the goals that you need to set in your organization beyond just your fundraising goal? We're going to look at how you want to measure your major gift program, your annual giving program events, and your board evaluations. We're going to look at different techniques there, and also talk about some of the examples at Meridian Health and how we tackle some of those situations. One of the other courses that you're going to learn from is Dennis. Dennis is going to talk about how you want to work collaboratively with your senior leadership in your organization as well as your boards and some of the community representatives. With many different ideas, people are going to have different focuses, and Dennis is really going to teach you how to bring all of that forward. I'm not going to go through every single course, but you'll see that there's some really wonderful, wonderful programs here. And again, as Michael touched on, some of the top nonprofit leaders in the state. Jonathan Pearson is a wonderful person. You're going to learn about grant writing and different techniques there. And you're also going to hear about capital campaigns. I have the pleasure of working with Jay Angeletti, who is the president of the Angeletti Group, and currently doing a feasibility study for us in our organization. But he's also going to talk about different strategies and techniques within a capital campaign and when you want to look at taking on a capital campaign within your own organization. As we look through some of the other courses, it's going to end with a wonderful inspirational program. One of the nicest parts about this program is that you're going to be able to have off-site visits at some of these facilities, and you're going to end the program with a wonderful trip to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Tom Weatherall, who's the CEO of that foundation, is going to show you really an inspirational day of tying the mission back to the importance of philanthropy and why you're asking folks to invest in what you do. It's really an incredible place if you've never been there. It's actually one of the only castles in the country for Make-A-Wish. It's actually designed to be a castle, so the entire experience is around the children and what they do for children in the community. Again, just wrapping things up really quickly, you're going to have a wonderful experience learning and developing networking and mentorships with these folks. The instructors in this program are chosen because they want to help see you grow. They want to help strengthen nonprofit organizations in the state, and you'll develop some wonderful, hopefully lifelong experiences and relationships with these folks. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Deborah, who's going to talk a little bit more about the program and the details behind that.
Well, hello, everyone. So thank you for joining all of us. Just a little background about FDU. It is the largest private university in New Jersey with campuses in Madison, in Teaneck, Vancouver, and Oxfordshire, England. That campus is called Roxton. We're the continuing education unit of the university, so our focus is on professional development. So this whole concept of working for the nonprofits and finding programming for them was a natural expansion to this area, was just a nice gel. Dennis mentioned that we began our programming a while ago. We actually started in 2011 and introduced our first course in 2012. What we do is we continually tweak this program. Now, some of you probably know this as continuous quality improvement, but there are tweaks. And what happens is that we have a lot of people who come to this program as emerging leaders, and their views through evaluations are taken very seriously, and we continue to improve the offering of this program to the members who come and participate. Now, what we do is our registration is incredibly easy here. There's a registration form and scholarship form online. It's on the slide, but it's www.fdu.edu/CFE. You'll find it there. You can fill it out. We currently have extended our early bird special, so you can take advantage of a $500 discount as long as you register by October 6th. This does not mean that you need to pay by October 6th. You merely need to get in your registration form. And if you plan on requesting a scholarship, which are usually around $500, then you need to include that at the same time. Don't send the scholarship without the registration form. We'll take this registration by mail, by fax, by email. Any one of those methods are okay. Our fax number is not listed, but I'll give you that anyway. It's 201-692-6505. The number that's listed on this slide is my number. That's perfectly fine. You can certainly call me and we'll take care of it. So as I said before, the payment does not need to accompany the registration. We just need you to get it in there. We can extend payment plans for you up until the end of the class. So you can pay a little at a time. The expectation really is that your agency will be supporting you, as Michael mentioned, and so therefore payment will come from them. We do have some people that do pay themselves, but there is expectation that you're being rewarded and supported by your organization. We do have a great registration team here that's here to help. However, if you'd like to speak to someone individually, you can ask for Catherine. She handles the bulk of the registrations, and certainly I'm here for you anytime you'd like to speak to me. So that's really all I'd like to say, and we'll open it up for questions.
Thank you very much, everybody. At this time, I'd like to know if anybody has any questions. Go ahead and speak your question, because we have the lines unmuted, and we're willing to take your questions at this time. So jump right in, please.
Hi, this is Susan Sino at the Spring Point Foundation. I have a question in reference to the timeline of when you begin and when you end.
Mm-hmm. So Dennis, do you want to handle that?
Yeah. You said Susan?
Yes, Dennis.
Hi, Susan.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
Nice to talk with you too here. The classes begin October 22nd or 28th, depending upon your certificate. They run twice a month. So I believe the philanthropy is on Tuesday, and the leadership certificate is on Wednesday. And they start at just from 2 to 4:30 on that day. They run till about early May, and I say early May only because that's how we've scheduled it. We try to avoid the holidays, but obviously first year we had Hurricane Sandy, and last year for some reason it seemed to snow every week. So there are 14 sessions that start at the end of October and go to May. Now, we do realize that obviously if things come up where you can't make a session, we arrange for you to meet with your other students and find out what else was taught, but there is an expectation that you'll go to the vast majority of our sessions here. It may be a question, so let me address this out here. You saw on the screen here different destination sites. About 1/3 of the courses are taught on the Madison Florham Park campus. Beautiful campus if you haven't seen there. About 1/3 of the courses are taught up on our Hackensack or Teaneck campus. But 1/3 of the courses are taught off-site at what we call destination learning sites. And they, on the leadership track, they would involve a phenomenal session meeting Barry Ostrowski, the CEO of Barnabas Health, in his boardroom. You have a chance to meet with Hans Decker from the Community Foundation of New Jersey, Chris Daggett, the Dodge Foundation, and Bill Burns from the Kirby Foundation up at the Dodge Foundation. You have a phenomenal tour of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. If anybody has not yet met Kathleen DiTeixeira, it's a phenomenal story of how she started delivering food out of the back of her car and now delivers 1 million pounds of food across this, around the state every year. It's amazing. And you're also going to be meeting, as Kerry said earlier, sort of the Tommy Weatherall. You go up to the Sharing Network of New Jersey. You're going to meet at Bill Nair and the Transformational Leadership Session up at Atlantic Health System. You meet with Sally Glick, who's the Chief Strategy Officer for Sobel. You'll learn about marketing at her boardroom up in Livingston. So we kind of, move the program around a little bit, just to have you a sense to get the different opportunities and places to go to. But that's the time frame at the end of October to the end of May. Now, what it is it's about 2.5 hours a week for every other week. So about 5 hours a month is what is required here. It is during the daytime. It's from 2 to 4:30. Some classes may end at 4 o'clock. The reason for that is we didn't want to, penalize people by having an evening program. Then you got to go get a babysitter, and it was to encourage, your employer to help support you. But for others, we found that was the ideal time to have. So that's how Susan, I would answer that question. Do you have any other questions on that one?
No, Dennis, that was wonderful. Thank you for that summary.
Okay.
Any other questions from the audience at this time?
Let me address, if there's not immediate, let me address something else here about the mentoring program. As it was brought up, in addition to having these 14 sessions, which totals about 35 hours, you'll have about 10 hours this year spread over those 7 months of working together as a group on a case study here. A key component of this program is our mentoring program. What that is, that if you wish to have a mentor, I will work with you directly to identify maybe someone who's been your instructor, someone on the board, or someone else, and that instructor we form a relationship with, and you will meet with them approximately 6 times or once a month, which sort of helps continue your professional learning program. And so that's all part of this the certificate program at Fairleigh Dickinson. In addition, we provide to you career coaching, and you get invited to a number of webinars, and you get invited to a lot of our programs we do, including our annual Conference for Women in Nonprofit Leadership.
Thank you, Dennis. Any additional questions from the audience at this time?
I do. Again, it's Susan again, and I have a question in reference. Dennis, thank you for the career coaching and the mentoring information. That was very helpful. My next question comes in where the additional work that's needed by each of us to continue this program, so required reading and that type of I'm just trying to get a time as far as how much time has to be dedicated other than the daily class or the 2 to 4:30 for the class.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. Let me address for everybody else that maybe it's not excessive at all. I mean, this is not excessive. Now, each instructor, may say they'd like you to read this article before their session, which is possible. But this is not what you would experience going to an academic class and having hours of homework. This is a professional development program, as Dean Fredericks talked about. So I think I don't think anybody feels any sense of excessive workload required or burden on it. It's the opposite. We do provide a book for overall, and we do provide you with some information, but most of that is discussed in the sessions. And again, you meet with 14 different people, throughout your program, whichever program you choose here. So that's kind of where we go from there.
Let me just mention that the book is really optional reading. It's not there to be a required test. It's merely offered on the syllabus as recommended reading. So you could choose to expand the perspectives that you're getting from all of these presenters by looking at some others that are put in this book. It's actually the book we chose has a bunch of different authors in it. So it's a whole host of topics that can assist you. But as Dennis said, the amount of time you put into it is entirely up to you. Some instructors do have pre-readings. Others recommend things that you can use to augment your training afterwards. So the thing that you will need to do is work with the team as a case study, but that could be done by you agreeing to come in a few minutes earlier or stay a few minutes after class to try to pull that together, because the case study is really a group project that's put together, and you do your presentation at the end of the program.
And there's no grade with this, but one of the small benefits of this program is that because the case study gives it 45 hours, if anybody wanted to pursue an academic degree at the university, you would automatically get 3 credits towards that. Let me just bring up one other thing that may come up because of, do I fit into this? The participants in our program are wide and varied, younger and older, more experienced and inexperienced, and there's a place for everybody. And I think what I have found, because I obviously talk to the students personally twice a year, in addition to each certificate gives a survey out on each program. And what the students tell me is that, sometimes they say, I wasn't sure what to expect, but they find it just elevates them, and it builds their esteem, it builds their confidence. They're amazed what they're learning. It broadens their horizons. And I think, and they look forward to meeting each other the following week. And I think that is one of the valuable things that Michael has always touched upon for this program here. So everybody who's on this webinar today, I want you to feel that you will be very comfortable, very welcome, and very supported This is not a stressful program. This is not a stressful program at all, but this is one to enhance your development and just make you feel much better about yourself and the work you do and all the work you want to do.
Great. Thank you, Dennis. Any additional questions from the audience at this time before we wrap this up? Okay, I would just like to let everybody know that this webinar was actually recorded so that if you do know of any other colleagues and so forth that would be interested in hearing this, we will make the recording available to you, and so that you would be able to share it with your other colleagues. So at this time, I just would like to thank everybody for participating today, both our attendees as well as all of the presenters. And we hope that you have a great day, and don't forget to visit www.fdu.edu/CFE.